So we have to get the name of the young soloist. And I apologise straight away, we haven't got him. And he's a tremendous, talented lad. He'd do that, Steve, wouldn't he?
It's very good rhythm, actually. I mean, sometimes when you can you get little bumps in the rhythm, and his spacing was fantastic both times. He was a young man of great stamina.
A great stamina and talent. Good lad for that one there.
Yeah.
So that was their programme. We did say about the soloist, the quality of the soloist.
Yeah.
Bethan Plant, who we talked a little bit earlier, remember, for some reason, there's the corner. They don't make gets in the turn of corners like that anymore, I don't think.
She was terrific though, wasn't
She was
she?
good player.
She really was very, very
the
good.
Gaelic is like one of those studies that all all students have got
Well, it's
to
a
play.
standard repertoire,
But
isn't it? But it's, yeah.
Played with such class and
Yeah.
real stylish
Very,
play,
very
and
good
that
player.
was
Trumpets
We
out
need
there,
an
yeah.
inquiry why there are no euphonium solos today.
Been one.
there has
There's
been
one?
one.
Just one?
Yeah, there was a chap earlier on played.
Yeah, Irvin Berling.
That was before I got it.
Yeah, the one who was dressed.
Not enough, anyway.
No vested interest there,
No.
Steve.
No,
of
but
course.
you know, these cornets and percussion,
There's
they
a-
get the easy
I
instruments
guess
Top
out.
of
Dave
dress,
Charles is
yeah.
adjudicated it might be less appealing to play euphonium.
Yeah, you're putting it up against it there. You're putting it
Yeah.
up against it there. The next band on in a few moments' time is going to be Blithwith Welfare under the musical direction of Martin Hartfield. They're starting off with a piece very appropriate. I'm a Brass Band, arranged by Alan Morrison, which comes from the Broadway show Sweet Charity, followed by Xylophonia, written by Joe Green, arranged by Ray Woodfield, and that's the xylophone soloist, never have guessed it, Morgan Gallimore. Then you've got Dan Price's Starburst, and they're finishing off with two movements from Fire in the Blood by Paul Lovett Cooper. Just a little word about this Morgan Gallimore. We saw him last year. We talked about Bethan Plant, who we interviewed last year. Young Morgan Gallimore is a little rising star, not only as a percussionist, but as a triathlete, I was going to say, a triathlete. I think he's not far away from one of these Great British
Wow.
Development Squads. So he's going to be one of the Brownlee brothers. Must be better than them, because I've never seen any of those play a xylophone. So you might do 26 more, whatever they do.
I suppose-
With a xylophone in his back.
A xylophone on your back,
I
yeah.
suppose 4.5 minutes of hard effort is not going to come too hard on him.
They're good lads, all those players. They help each other out as well. If my brother was in front of me, I'd have tripped him up. He's going to the line. I'd knock him over there. So that's what we got in that part. Just a little mention as well, just to say about the international flavour that we've been had on the broadcast. I've got to take my glasses off for this one because my reading is not that great. This is from a tweet we had from SJ, and this tells you everything about the international panel that we got. It says, "What I love is good representation of brass in the UK, with a Scots, Welsh, and an Englishman around the table to chat and interview. It's a great occasion to celebrate what we do as neighbours." So I think that person may have
That's
voted against Brexit, by the sounds of it, with that one there. And there's a special mention as well, a shout out for Plesley Colliery Welfare Band, who opens the Christmas Tree Festival with an evening concert on the 2nd of December at 7:30. There we are, Christmas is coming already, and the announcements are already being made. So there we are, they've got their announcement in first of all. Back to the programme and back to the music, as we were talking about there. Again, Ellen, we've said so much about them. They're an excellent organisation. But it's great to see a young player, as you said, like Bethan Plant playing, somebody who's been developed by the band over the years, Steve. It's great that I understand she's at the Royal Northern. So it's a tribute to what they've been taught, that somebody's gone on through the ranks to an institution like that.
Yeah, there's no better place, for young brass players, young percussion players, wind players in the RNCM. It's a very exciting, vibrant place, and we've got auditions coming up now. Most people who are auditioning know, and they've probably got their auditions in early, but we have 4 or 5 schools in the UK now which really cater for this young talent that's coming through our brass bands. The Welsh College, the Royal Northern, Huddersfield, Birmingham, Salford, and those north of the border, of course.
We're going to say about that north of the border. It's a question that we brought up a little earlier when we were actually in Cheltenham. We said about Kenny, that one of the reasons we say why Welsh banding has been so successful is a basic reason that we're having so many talented students coming to the Royal Welsh College, and now that's gone through to a new generation who now become conductors in local community, and it's one of the things that's possibly missing in Scotland. There isn't a brass band course. There's the conservatoire, which is orchestrally based, but there's not a brass band course. They're missing a trick there.
It's a big problem for Scotland, actually, and we've had this debate over the last few weeks, especially. We've been having it for years, actually, over how lack of success that Scotland have had at national level in the lower sections, notably. And despite all the kind of youth investment that's been going on in Scotland over the last 10 years, which has been outstanding in many respects, but if you look around Black Dyke and Corey and Fodens and Fairies and all the top bands south of the border, they're sitting full of young Scots who have been studying at NCM or the Welsh College. You know, there's nothing specifically brass band orientated to keep them, the very best of them, in Scotland, and it is a big issue.
We
And
talked about it as well because the last time Scotland has won a national title was the year 2000,
Yeah,
so 16 years, and the investment that they've put into Sabbath, especially the excellent work they've done, is now a decade.
Yeah.
But the bands themselves don't even seem to be full of young players. Every band, just about every band we see at the national final level, is still a mature or stroke old band.
There were one or two, I mean,
Yeah.
young Campbelltown.
Campbelltown, yeah.
Outstandingly good actually for a young band. I think there's a fairly strong view amongst a lot of people, me included, that a lot of the bands in Scotland are kind of wrong section nationally. The gradings are just a bit out of step with the rest of
the podcast you did,
the rest of the country, I think. And it would be good to see, a realignment of that, I think.
Is there
But there's
appetite?
al-
Is there
there's
an
always
appetite?
opposition
Again,
as
is there an
well.
appetite to change in Scotland for that, for the benefit,
There's
or
def-
do they see it as a Scotland? I'm not saying that you can go your own way, whatever. You've had that vote once, you can't have it back again a second time. You
I'd be
never know.
surprised if there's another one eventually.
But is there that appetite to say, yeah, okay, our band's against bands from England and Wales? We've got to
think
really be
it-
realistic of where we stand.
I think there's got to come a realisation that the bands are spending an absolute fortune travelling to Cheltenham. Some of them from as far away as old Campbelltown. It's nearly a 1,000-mile round trip. The next nearest city to Campbelltown is New York. So they're really isolated. But Aberdeen, the bands for there, are part of the North East. Travelling a really long journey to Cheltenham and back, they're spending an awful lot of money. The hundreds and thousands of hours that they put in investment in their own time, there'll come a realisation that this is actually money that's not well spent. If we're going to national finals at which we actually have a very low expectation achieving any success. But the bands are there certainly to be able to win the first, second, third and fourth sections. The problem is they're in sections that are too high.
Yeah.
Just before we go back to the hall, then, do you think, Chris, as well, that there is a need for that to change for the benefit of all of UK banding, not just for Scottish banding, that we need competitive sections at all levels from all regions?
I think we do. I think the problem is particularly extreme in Scotland.
Scotland
isn't
and
it?
North
I think-
England,
I think
actually.
it's-
North England have a
it's-
similar problem.
It's not common, I don't think, across the whole country, but there are certain parts of the country certainly that have problems. I think the other thing is Scotland, and this is something for a conversation maybe later on, is the youth policy that we've talked about many times, and whether that youth policy is actually succeeding where it was intended to succeed in Scotland.
there
Because
may-
at the moment, on the face of it,
There
you
may be a
have
view
to
that it's
question
peaked.
Yeah.
It's maybe peaked a few years
Yeah.
ago.
Well, I think we'll try and pick up from that conversation after the next band has been on. But for the time being, we go back to the hall with Simone, and we're going to say goodbye to Stephen Mead as well, but we go back to the hall with Simone.
A very good afternoon to you if you've just joined us. We are ready for band